Have you ever wondered if a patch of barren land could pull you underneath? My name is James. I am a high school student attending school in a quiet suburb. Behind my school was a vacant lot, loosely fenced off with old wooden planks. There was a rumor going around school that a nameless grave lay there, and no one knew when it first appeared. If anyone stepped on the grave, they'd be dragged down into it. I was half believing, half doubting, but just like before, my friends dared me to go in or be labeled a coward. With the impulsiveness of youth, I immediately accepted the challenge. That afternoon, when the schoolyard was deserted, I slipped into the vacant lot. In front of me was a mound of earth as tall as a grave, with shorter and softer grass. I stomped hard with both feet. I waited, but nothing happened. That night, I dreamed of a woman lying face down on the grave behind the school. She slowly lifted her head, revealing a face with no eyes, no nose, no mouth. Suddenly, she reached out and grabbed my legs tightly. I frantically sprang up, my shirt soaked with sweat. Even more terrifying, my legs were covered in deep bruises. One day, I couldn't stand it anymore. I invited a friend to sneak into the vacant lot behind the school and dig up that grave. We proceeded to the middle of the grass and started digging exactly where I had stepped before. Finally, we uncovered a pair of shoes, the exact ones I'd worn the day before, but now it was rotten and tattered, as if it had been buried there for an entire year. I froze. That couldn't be. I'd worn them just yesterday. I'd left them on the shelf when I got home. At that exact moment, an icy cold hand grabbed my ankle from inside the hole. And then, from within the earth, the faceless woman was slowly rising. My friend pulled me out with all his might, and then the two of us ran desperately back home. The next morning, I found something placed in front of my door. It was my pair of shoes. They were soaking wet, covered in mud, and rotten, accompanied by a crumpled note that read, "You will be the next."
Perhaps the most terrible thing in love is not being abandoned, but when he wants to keep you forever. I'm Bella, graphic designer, live alone, few friends, lots of deadlines, bored with relationships. Until I met Jay. Jay was my online friend. He was sweet, funny, and patient. We talked every night, but when he started asking strange questions, I started to feel scared. I immediately blocked him, deleted social media, turned off location. But I couldn't escape the feeling of being followed. That night, I took a shower to clear my mind. When I looked up, the words on the mirror, "You're in," had been written for a long time, making me extremely scared. But when I looked again, The words had disappeared. Before I could scream, a gloved hand covered my mouth with a cloth soaked in anesthetic. I passed out. When I woke up, I found myself tied to a chair. A strange, strong smell rushed into my nose, making me want to vomit. I was shocked when I saw Jay. He was the one who kidnapped me. He held a bottle of opaque liquid and said that he would keep my skin for decades. He held a bottle of opaque liquid and said that he would keep my skin for decades. My eyes fell on 3 glass cases containing mummified girls in the corner of the room. Surely I would be the next work if I didn't escape from here. I was almost desperate. But the ropes weren't tight. I tried to move my wrists. I held my breath and tried to loosen the ropes. When he turned his back, I took the opportunity to attack. I didn't dare look back. I ran. Just wanted to escape from the nightmare. The door swung open. I was stunned. The house was right on the main road. What a confident pervert. I burst into tears, screaming for help. Someone came running. The police arrived. They broke down the basement door. But Jay was gone. In the middle of the room was a transparent glass chamber. Inside was a 3D model of me. I left the city, lived anonymously, cut off all contact. But from that day on, every time the doorbell rang, my heart stopped beating. Lizzie grew up in a violent family, with her biological father being an abusive alcoholic. In a drunken rage, he killed Lizzie's mother. When he sobered up, the guilt consumed him, and he took his own life. I was Jane, 20 years old. Lizzie was my adoptive sister, taken in by my parents after her biological parents passed away. We grew up under the same roof, but Lizzie was always distant and withdrawn, no matter how hard I tried to get close to her. One day, my parents suggested a family trip, hoping it would help Lizzie heal after such a devastating loss.
Where would my precious daughter like to go?
I want to go to the beach. We haven't gone in so long, Dad. But I never imagined that a simple conversation would mark the beginning of a terrifying tragedy. That day, my parents attended a party and told us to prepare dinner ourselves. I planned to order food and wanted to ask Lizzie if she would like to eat with me.
Lizzie, I'm ordering dinner. Do you want anything?
There was no response. The door was unlocked, yet the room remained eerily silent. Hesitating for a moment, I pushed the door open, but Lizzie wasn't inside. It was my first time entering her room. Everything was neat and clean. My eyes landed on the desk, where an old diary lay neatly. On the cover, the word "die" was scrawled in bold red letters. A sense of unease rose within me, yet I couldn't stop myself from picking up the diary. Inside were grotesque, twisted drawings drenched in blood, horrifying and disturbing. Frightened, I quickly shut the book and tossed it back onto the desk. My heart pounded, my breath quickened. At that moment, I noticed another word carved deeply into the desk. Kill, with my name etched right next to it. My entire body froze. My breath became heavy. What was Lizzie trying to do? Suddenly, her cold voice rang out behind me.
Jane, who gave you permission to touch my things?
Startled, I turned around to see Lissy's expressionless face staring at me. Lissy, what is all this? Lissy said coldly.
I hate you. I want you dead.
With that, she pulled a sharp knife from her pocket and lunged at me. I quickly dodged, but the blade still sliced deep into my arm, sending a sharp pain through me. Lissy then kicked me hard in the back, making me fall onto the floor. She opened a drawer, pulled out a rope, and immediately pounced on me, pinning me down. Before I could react, my wrists and ankles were already bound tightly.
Why are you doing this to me?
I hate how happy you are. I hate your stupid, cheerful smile.
She dragged the blade across my cheek, the cold steel sending a chilling sensation through my skin. Lissy, please stop. Everyone loves you.
Love! You have everything. Parents, vacations, attention. And me? I'm nothing but a discarded piece of trash.
No, Lizzie. We all want you to come with us on the trip.
Shut up! I don't need your pity.
My pleas only fueled her rage. She gripped the knife tightly and stabbed it deep into my thigh. A searing pain shot through my body, and I screamed in agony. Lizzie's fingers tightened around the knife handle, preparing to drive it down with all her strength. I truly thought that would be the last moment of my life. But just then, my mother's terrified scream shattered the air. Looking towards the door, I saw my parents standing there, their faces frozen in horror.
Lizzie, what are you doing?
Lizzie, put the knife down.
Don't come any closer or I'll kill her.
In an instant, my father lunged forward, grabbing Lizzie's wrist and struggling to pry the knife from her grip. Lizzie suddenly bit down hard on my father's hand, making him yelp in pain and loosen his grip. Taking advantage of the moment, she broke free and turned towards me, eyes burning with madness. My father quickly grabbed her from behind, wrapping his arms around her tightly. She thrashed violently, screaming.
Lizzie, my love, please stop.
Lizzie suddenly froze, turning to look at my mother. Her grip on the knife loosened, and it clattered to the floor. Perhaps, at that moment, she remembered her biological mother, the only person who had ever truly loved her. After that day, my parents took Lizzie to see a psychiatrist. She was diagnosed with severe psychological disorders caused by past trauma, so she had to stay at the hospital for treatment. What Lizzie did to me was painful, but I never once hated her. In fact, I felt even more sorry for her. I only wished for our family to be whole again someday.
Ryan had never believed in ghost stories or urban legends, but the man he met that night changed everything for him. That night, after attending his best friend's birthday party in the suburbs, Ryan drove back to his apartment in drizzling rain and thick fog. He passed through a treacherous mountain road where several mysterious traffic accidents had happened before. The road was slippery and narrow, but Ryan still sped up, hoping to get home quickly. The sky grew darker, and the GPS on his phone suddenly lost signal. Ryan began to realize that something wasn't right. It had been over 15 minutes, and he was still driving on the same stretch of road. Suddenly, through the thick fog, he saw a man standing in the middle of the road. The man wore a torn white shirt. His head drooped, arms hanging limply. Ryan slammed on the brakes, his heart pounding in his chest. But when he looked up again, the man had vanished. Thinking he was just seeing things out of fatigue, Ryan accelerated, planning to get out of this strange place as fast as possible. But less than 5 minutes later, that man appeared in front of his car again. This time, he lifted his head. His face was grotesquely twisted, his eyes sunken, his mouth gaped wide to his ears, blood oozing from his nose and ears. Ryan screamed, swerved the wheel, but the car skidded off the road and crashed into a tree. Ryan tried to restart the car but couldn't. The lights inside flickered constantly and then went out. He grabbed his phone, but it was completely dead. Its battery had drained without him noticing. Suddenly, Ryan felt a cold hand rest on his shoulder. From the back seat, that man crawled up, his head tilted at an unnatural angle. He screamed, trying to get out, but the car doors wouldn't open. Ryan struggled in panic, constantly pounding his fists against the window in an attempt to escape. The next morning, the police found a crashed car by the roadside. The doors were flung open, and no one was inside. Strangely, the windows had shattered from the inside, as if someone had broken them to escape. Later, they discovered bloody footprints and deep scratch marks in the soil. The police followed the tracks and found Ryan's body at the bottom of a ravine. His body was no longer intact, his flesh shredded as if mauled by a wild animal. Ryan's face bore the final expression of terror, his eyes wide open, his mouth agape, as if he had died screaming.